If elected to Houston City Council, would you support the implementation of performance standards that tie BARC's leadership's performance, particularly with regard to the number of live releases, to salary increments or continued employment?
I'm an educator by trade. I'm a certified teacher and a certified principal. And thank you. And teachers in the house. Well, let me tell you, when you're in the classroom, you've got to measure everything. You cannot wait until test day to determine what your children don't know. So you have to be able to set metrics and measure. I'm rabid about that, but I'm wrong. So what we're facing here, the way that we get to a no-kill city, is right now we're behind the curve, right? We're playing catch up by trying to keep pets in families. So we're trying to play catch up to educate them. We're trying to play catch up. They're breeding faster than we can spay them. What we've got to do is put more efforts and energy into that, because if we can ever reach that tipping point and get to the other side, I think it's all downhill from there. And then we can get to a no-kill city faster. But we've got to do those two things first.
I would support performance standards. I'd really sometimes like to import them into Congress as well, but I don't know the feasibility of that. But I do think that it's important, if you're going to have a job, that you have metrics and goals that you need to meet. And I also think if you have a job that you're being paid for, you should really be there full-time, which at last check, I do not believe the director of BARC is a full-time employee. So not only the metrics of making sure that we're saving animals' lives, we're spaying, we're neutering, we're getting out the heartworm preventative, but actually just showing up, which I think is a real basic, and a metric that even I can meet if I were to do it.
I just want to say that when it comes down to it, you know, we definitely need to have metrics for the whole organization, for the leadership, as well as the people that work there. It has to go down into the performance plans for everybody involved. The other trick, though, is we need to make sure that they've got the resources and capability required to do the job that we are asking them. Because they're also employees and have some, rights to have a chance to do what is required. I think ultimately it has to come down from the city council, from the mayor, that sets a culture that insists on those kind of metrics, on return to owner and spaying and neutering, all those important characteristics, all those important metrics, and to track those and ensure that the organization meets those as well as the people in it. Thank you.
Real quickly, if these staffers want to kill, they got to leave. But you have to understand how the city works. I'm a former assistant director. I'd make sure that my staffers understood what they had to do. They had to have their tasks assigned. They had to sign off on the task, because they could always bring an EEO complaint against me if we didn't do it right. So I want to make sure that these staffers that work at these animal shelters know what their tasks are. They sign off on their job description. When they get evaluated, they sign off on that. And they get evaluated again. They need to be evaluated twice. City doesn't do that often. We need to ensure that if we're going to do this right, and if we want to remove them because they're too lazy and they want to put down the animals, then we need to find a way of getting rid of them. Thank you very much.
Okay, just right quick, how many of you are evaluated on your jobs that you have? Yep. Everybody. Okay. Now, as a retired military person, I worked for the government. I think we were the only ones in the entire United States government, state or federal level, or city, that actually got evaluated, had training, you were evaluated, and if you didn't do a good job, there were penalties. And in fact, you could actually be discharged dishonorably from the military if you did not perform to a professional standard that you people expect. And I think that's a good thing. So why can't we do this through the rest of government? The only thing that you can really do is, the only metrics for, say, Congress or some of these other positions is to vote. That's your power of being able to say, you know what, you're not doing the right job. However, you can't do that in BARC or some of these other places. Well, then you start doing that. Flat out. If you're held to a standard at your job, they should be held to a standard at theirs, especially when lives matter.